Okay, so in this video, I want to talk about the Venus Optics Laowa 24mm f14 to f40 probe lens. And this one has the Canon EF mount with the Cine modification on it. And I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. So look at this thing. I mean, look at it. It's exactly what the name says. It's a probe lens. It's long and narrow. When you put it on your camera, it kind of looks like a gun barrel, and it gives like a whole new meaning to shoot something with your camera. So anyway, I don't own this lens. I rented this lens from borrowlens.com. They're not paying me or endorsing me in any way. That's just a place that I go to rent lenses when I need a lens that I don't have, that I don't own. So with that said, 3 weeks ago, I didn't know anything about this lens. I happened to stumble across it online, and I thought, hey, this would be great for some macro photography, like for doing stock photography, and it would be great for some personal projects. So I have the lens for a whole week. It arrived on Friday afternoon. I spent all day yesterday, Saturday, getting acquainted with the lens. I've never used this before. I haven't done macro photography in a very, very long time, been many years, like over 10 years. Years ago, I used to sell little small things on eBay, like stamps and coins, and help other people sell things on eBay. And I would do some product photography. But other than that, I haven't done macro in years, and I'm not really a macro photographer. So let's jump right in and take a look at this lens. So when it arrived from Borrow Lens, it arrived in this nice little sturdy case that was packed inside of a box. And I'm assuming this case comes with it when you buy it. So when I took it out of the case, well, the very first thing I noticed is this USB cable that I could not use because it looks like, I guess it's for Apple. I don't own any Apple products anymore. But what I did do was I used a regular micro USB and I connected it to an old drone battery as a power bank, and it worked fine. So let's look at the lens. It's long, narrow, it's made out of aluminum, it's nice and sturdy. The weight and dimensions are right there on the screen. And when you pop the lens cap off, the very first thing you see is you have this ring of LED lights. And that's what the USB port is for, further back here on the barrel. Now, this one has the Cine modification on it, which means it has these gears on your aperture and on your focus. And that's for mounting it on a rig where you're going to have aperture and focus motors. This lens also comes in a version a little bit cheaper that doesn't have those on there. So there's links to it all down below. You can check it out and see which one you might like if you're deciding to, or go to Borrow Lens and rent it. That's what I did. And quite honestly, I got to say right up front that I like this lens. And I like this lens, and I would actually think about purchasing it. It's on my list of lenses. So now, when the one of the things that I read online that freaks some people out, but actually a lot of people know about this, and that is when you connect one of these kind of lenses, like a manual lens, to your camera, even though it has a Canon mount, there's no interaction electronically between the camera and the lens. So it's not going to read your aperture. There's just going to be zeros in that spot, or it's going to be blacked out. That freaks some people out. For me, I'm familiar with it. It's kind of like putting an old film lens on your camera, and it's just something you got to get used to. It doesn't hurt anything. Okay, sometimes it messes up the metering a little bit. I noticed, but I did everything in manual, so I had no problems. So that's pretty much what the lens looked like and what it does. And, it only has two adjustments on it. That's it. So moving along, okay, so I mounted it on a still camera and I did some shots with it. You're definitely going to want to, put it on a tripod or a camera stand, something like that. There is no image stabilization with this. Now, one of the things that I had read about was white balance. Some people were complaining or just stating that it was a yellow cast, very warm. And I got to say, mine did the same thing, but it's kind of a strange kind of yellow cast. And when you turn, or at least when I turned the LEDs on, it would, on certain things, it would make that yellow cast even more pronounced. Look down the barrel of this gun here. This gun is cleaned. I mean, there's a little bit of debris down there, but essentially the barrel and everything down in there is nice and shiny steel. But it made that back part look very yellowish. Now, I was shooting in B-raw with the video, and of course I'm shooting in RAW when I do stills, and it's easy to correct if you're shooting in RAW. I mean, you can go in and change these kinds of things. It's not a big deal. Not a deal breaker by any means. I don't know, maybe it's just the kind of glass that they use. I'm not really sure the technical aspects, but I just know that mine did exactly what I read that it did to other people online. So I decided to, after shooting some stills, I put it on the Blackmagic Pocket 6K. I got the slider out. I set up some Genaray wand lights. Now that could be, now those Genarays they're set for 5600, and they're balanced. All three are balanced the same, and maybe the interaction between the LED on the end of this and that is what was causing or adding to the white balance issue. I'm not sure. But either way, I put it on the Blackmagic Pocket 6K. Had a lot of fun using the slider. I did a little video I put up online the other day. There's a little bit of shake on my slider because I was using a lot of weight. I had the monitor, the camera, batteries, everything on the slider at the same time. A little too much weight than what that slider can hold. But I had a lot of fun at least getting to see what I can do with this camera. And the genre of macro photography is literally a whole nother world of photography. It's this like little small world that you kind of immerse yourself into. And I can say that if you're a macro photographer, there's probably a ton of creative stuff that you can do with this lens. I mean, and I'll put a link to some videos that I seen other people do that were just phenomenal. And that's kind of what sold me on at least renting this lens. So I got links for it down below. You can check it out. Or I'll put a link, you can rent it from Borrow Lens like I did. Rent it for a week, and if it fits your budget, and have a lot of fun with it. But I can say that I definitely like the lens. It seems to be sturdy for the price that it's at right now. $1,600 to $1,700 is what it's listed for right now, and that's in February of 2021. I would say it's worth it. I definitely have it on my list of lenses to buy. Even though I'm not a macro photographer, I can see where this could be used. Even if you were doing another, like a video project, I could see shooting a few scenes or something with this. That definitely is something interesting, something to play around with and get very creative with. So that's really all I have to say about it right now. I just wanted to make a quick video showing the lens and giving my thoughts and opinions on it. Certainly not a full review, but certainly a very fun lens and a very strange looking lens. Okay, everybody, if you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe. I'm harmless. Come back, check out other weird, quirky things, and have a great day.